Hello, welcome to Module 6. In this module, we will study about dialogues in Android system. Then, we will discuss various data storage techniques provided by Android system. In this lecture, I will teach you about dialogues, how to create, remove and edit them. A dialog is a small window that prompts the user to make a decision or enter some additional information. A dialog does not fill the screen and it is normally used for model events that requires to take action before they can proceed. Dialogs are based on fragments. Android provides dialog fragment class which acts as a container to dialog. It provides all the control you need to create your dialog and manage its appearances. It efficiently handles the life cycle events such as back button press or rotation of a screen. There exist many predefined dialogs in Android, like alert dialog that show title, buttons and a custom body layout. Date picker dialog, a dialog with predefined UI that allow you to select a date. Time picker dialog, a dialog with a predefined UI that allows the user to select the time. To get a better understanding of dialogs, that is, how to create them or invoke them, let us create an application which showcases various dialogs. Let us start with a date picker dialog and create something like this. Here you go, you can see on clicking the date picker button, a dialogs prompt up which let me select a date and I have then displayed the selected date on this activity. Let us create a new project and try to implement this. Let us first create a dialog class. A dialog is based on fragment. Hence, let us extend our class with dialog fragment. In the dialog fragment class, Android provides a handle on create dialog where we can create and adjust the appearance of the dialog to be displayed. Let's override that handle. Here we will create a date picker dialog using the date picker dialog Android class. So I have returned an instance of date picker dialog. This is a predefined dialog in the Android system which displays us a dialog with a predefined UI of date selection. It takes some inputs. First, context handle. Then it takes the current date to be selected on the dialog. That is the year, month and the day to be displayed selected when the dialog first opens. It takes one more argument that help us to create a callback function on date set whenever user selects a date on the dialog. The second argument is therefore an object of a class implementing on DateSetListener interface. Let us make our class implement that interface so that it can handle the date submitted by the user on the dialog. The onDateSet function will return the selected year, the month, and the day by the user. Now let us add a button in the main activity on clicking which we will show this dialog. To display the dialog or the click of the button, we will add this code. The dialog fragment class provides a show API which lets you show that dialog. It takes two inputs. One is the support fragment manager instance and the key by which you want to recognize your dialog. Let's run the app and see if our dialog is being displayed correctly. There you go. We have the activity with a button on which when we click it displays a dialog where we can choose any date. But now we need to complete the bridge so that when we press the done button on the dialog, the date selected is displayed on the activity text view. So let us see how to do that. To do that, we need to build an interaction between the activity and the date picker dialog class. The dialog class is an extension of a fragment. Hence, we build the interaction between an activity and a fragment using an interface. So let's first create an interface which will act as a contract between the activity and the dialog fragment. So now to transfer the selected date, we will call the DateSelected function in the listener interface we just added. And in the main activity, we will implement that interface. And whenever the DateSelected function is called, we will set the text view text as the date. Now let's run our app and see if the connectivity between the fragment and the activity is working fine. There you go. You can see the selected date is being displayed on this activity as required. Let us now try another dialog, the alert dialog. It lets you add custom body layouts in your dialog and configure dialog as per your requirement. Something like this. In this dialog, we let the user to register in our app by entering its name, email and phone number and pressing register. And the user details entered are displayed on the text view in the activity. Now let us see how to achieve this using alert dialog. For that, let us create another dialog class. And extend it again with dialog fragment. As done in the previous dialog, we need to have an interaction with the main activity. Hence, let us add another API in our interactioner. In this dialog, we need to give a custom layout where we will have 3 edit text in a vertical linear layout. So let us first create a layout matching that. Now let us set this view in this dialog by first converting that layout file into a view object using a layout inflator. To create an alert dialog with custom layout, we will first create an alert dialog builder. First, let us set the title. Now, let us set the view we just created. And on that view, we can add buttons to be displayed as cancel and the register button at the bottom of the dialog. Similarly, set a negative button as cancel and add a click handler to that button as well. Note, we can even add a third button as set neutral button as per our requirement. But in our scenario, we just need 2 buttons, hence we add only 2 buttons. And finally, return the dialog by calling builder.create API. Now, let us complete the on-click handler of our register and the cancel button. On cancel, we want our dialog to be closed. Hence, we cancel our dialog. And from the register click handler, we want to submit the data entered by the user in the 3 edit text. So we call our listener user detail API in our interface and provide it with the 3 strings entered by the user. The last thing required is to implement this interface API we added for the user details. Then add a button which will show us the alert dialog when we click it. Hence, we have added the click listener for the button and the interface user detail API. Now let's run our application and see if our alert dialog is working correctly. There you go. When I click the register button, a dialog is being displayed, and on entering the details in it and pressing register, it displays those details on the activity. If I click cancel, it will just remove the dialog and does not affect our main activity. In this lecture, you learn how to create dialog with custom layouts and as well as predefined layouts like date picker or the time picker dialog. I will insist you to create more custom dialog in your activities where you want user to make a decision or enter additional information regarding that activity. That's all I have in this lecture. In the next lecture, we will discuss about different data storage techniques provided by the Android system. Thank you.